Do you relate to any of these phrases? I definitely did. My name is Cindy, and today we're going to be exploring a little bit of what is culture. And the reason why I mentioned those phrases at the beginning is because a lot of us who were born and raised in a different country struggle with these things. I will talk about my journey and exploring my culture and who I am as a person, and hopefully it relates to you in some way or form. This side of my life represents my Salvadorian side. There's a lot of layers that I still carry with me. Now this side, I would consider my Canadian side. Now, of course, I was born and raised in this country, yet my parents were born and raised in El Salvador. So having these two worlds kind of puts you in that in-between. That in-between feeling is not the best sometimes. It makes you dig into this little rabbit hole of like, what defines me as a Salvadorian? What defines me as a Canadian? First of all, growing up, I wouldn't even define myself as a Salvadorian. Just the term Latina, or to be called a Latina, kind of upset me because I did not want to be defined by those different stereotypes that I grew up seeing. Now, this in-between feeling must feel very insecure. This in-between feeling of, wait, but I speak Spanish, but yet I speak English. Awesome, you're bilingual. But then there's those different layers. Okay, growing up, eating pupusas, eating all different types of dishes that honestly I thought were normal to me in my household, of course, was not going to be normal to someone else that I would meet. So this is something that I came to the realization that I was completely different in that term, because my food that I would eat at home was completely different. The whole point of this is I want you to know the same way I would have loved for someone to tell me, because growing up as, not only growing up as a first gen here in this country, I struggled because I was the firstborn. And to be the firstborn, you're introduced to so many things. You're in the educational systems. You're the first one to actually embark in the journey of starting university. And then eventually, like you guys are aware of, starting my master's degree, which is a whole different ballgame. But this is why I'm here, because this program actually allowed me to sink a little bit deeper into who I am. And one of the things that I'd love to say today is, you may be Salvadorian, you may be Canadian, but at the end of the day, you are your own culture. Don't try to let people define you into one box or the other, because at the end of the day, you're a mix of both. And that makes you super unique. And that's something I had to learn, and that's something that I had to value about myself. I strongly believe in the value of oneself, and the experiences that we carry, we're unique, and all our experiences are unique. If I could talk to my younger self, I would simply say, hey, guess what? Being Salvadorian and being Canadian is awesome. Being who you are is an amazing thing. And of course, a lot of these different experiences create who you are. Now, I cannot say that I would be the same person if I was born and raised in El Salvador. I bet absolutely not. But I do know one thing. I am who I am today. My identity is to represent myself as a Canadian-born Salvadorian. Because yes, I do define myself with my roots, because a lot of those aspects of my life and who I am come from El Salvador, but a lot of those other aspects of myself come from this country, the things and the experience that I have had. So if you're a mix of cultures, just remember, when someone says, what culture are you from? Just say, I am my own culture. I like to define it this way. We got the Salvadorian side, that's one of the cultures. We got the Canadian side, and that is the second culture. But in between that, we got our third culture, which is the you. The you, unique self, your unique culture. And remember, generations after, your children will also have their own culture. So just embrace your culture. Embrace who you are as a person. And let me just leave it with this. At the end of the day, be true to yourself. Love who you are and the different experiences that you carry. So just remember, at the end of the day, don't try to define yourself as a specific cultural box. You are your own culture. So that makes you unique and that makes you special. And I think that is awesome in itself. So embrace it wherever you are, and you will see where life takes you. Don't forget to give a like, subscribe if you haven't, and share with your friends as well, maybe those who relate to this topic. Thank you for watching. I hope to be able to explore more of these different layers that hopefully relate to you in some shape or form. Until next time, bye, salud, ciao, ciao.